Good morning, sir.
Good morning, welcome back.
Good to be back. How are we?
Not too bad. How was the World Cup?
The World Cup was
Shocking.
it was horrible. It was a shit game.
I can't believe Argentina did not even shoot at all.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I don't think they had one shot, or maybe they had one shot on target the whole game.
No,
Spain had like 25 shots on target.
It was all zero.
Yeah. It makes me wonder a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, how much of it how far were they meant to go, and were they meant to win? And I don't know. It was just a bit odd. Like, they obviously played so many good games and came back from 2-0 down and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spain won. Yamal Lamine is the new Messi.
Yeah. The game before I saw on the night before was pretty good. The France
and England game was unreal.
That was unreal.
Yeah, it was like 5-3 or something, and then
it was a good game.
It was a good game. Yeah, but the distractions are over now. Mm-hmm. Back to full scale war.
Yeah. Well, it's kicking off again. Yeah. Like, it looks like it's not stopping.
Yeah. As I said, I said this a long time ago. Remember when you asked me, how long did I think the war would go on for? And I said years.
Yep.
And now that's the kind of rhetoric that's coming out from Iran. It's we're locked in, full scale war with the US. Strap in, because this could last years.
Well, they're definitely escalating on both sides.
Yeah.
Trump as well with these tweets. Man, some of them are they're hard to watch. It's like, do you want a reaction from Iran? I think that's what they're trying to do, and it looks like they're ready. It looks like the US is ready. It looks like Iran is ready. Yeah,
and I honestly think that this was the plan the whole time. Trump could only have a 60-day war with them because of their policies and whatnot.
Which restarted again last week.
Yeah, so he's got the 60 days now to just do whatever he wants to do. Mm-hmm. I think obviously the casualties of the US military, which is pretty sad, but that's, I think, going to obviously escalate things as well. Mm-hmm. A lot of Americans aren't going to be very happy with that, and obviously Trump's not happy with it. So yeah, that doesn't look like there's going to be any peace, and as we're seeing, the markets are certainly reacting, especially oil.
Well, oil was peaking.
Yeah.
It smashed back up to like $90.
Yeah.
Stock market's actually been down a heap.
Yeah.
I think the tech bubble is starting to unwind.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's happening. You have the Bank of Japan with the reverse carry trade. That's also happening. It looks like they're going to increase rates.
Yeah.
Because they're going to increase rates, all of a sudden that money becomes more expensive.
Yeah.
They sell their US holdings, and that's what it looks like is happening.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the interest rate hike is on the 31st of July. So it'll be really interesting to see how high oil goes before then. I think if we see it get to that $100 a barrel, we're going to see a massive interest rate hike of maybe 50 basis points, which will take it to 1.5%. Which is the highest it's ever been. Yeah. I think it's been at zero for like 30 years. It's at 0.7 at the moment, which is the highest it's been in a long time. So 1.5 would just be unprecedented. So yeah, like you said, that unwind will happen for sure. And then it would be really interesting to see what happens to the markets.
Well, usually what happens with these things is when there's a massive unwind event like that, that's what happened with the GFC. You had all of a sudden one bank that collapsed, and then it broke the elastic band. As soon as that snapped, the next one snapped. I think it was
just a domino effect.
I think it was Lehman Brothers to start, Bear Stearns, and then they just all started falling like dominoes because they were all interconnected. And the same thing is happening with the stock market. You have massive leverage. You have a lot of people with margin loans piling everything in. All of our super funds. In America, you've got the 401ks. All that money is going to the super funds. And it just takes a small match to get lit, and then bang.
This is pretty much what happened in 2008, hey?
Exactly.
It was the housing market, right?
It was the housing market in the US.
Yeah.
But then they realized it was not just the US. It was connected to the whole world. Because the US... Well, people were borrowing money, lending and all that, but those banks were then on selling that debt to other banks internationally.
So it's very similar, but this time we're dealing with oil.
I think it's oil and AI.
So two big factors. So do you think it's going to be similar in the sense of the GFC and how much that hit us? Or do you think it's going to hit us a lot more?
I think it's going to hit a lot more because the debt levels are a lot higher.
Yeah.
You can just see it here with the housing market as well. Back in 2007, 2008, you could buy houses, for $300,000-400,000 in Sydney.
Massive difference.
Cheap, right?
And our wages haven't gone up to match that.
Exactly. And now you're talking, that same house that was $500,000 say is probably like 1.5 mil in today's terms.
Yeah.
There's a lot more debt. If there's a lot more debt, And I think if there's a lot more debt, there's been a lot of loose money that's been flown around, and it just takes something very small to prick the balloon.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, you know, I hear so many people talking about, like, if you ever talk about the war or bring it up, they don't really seem too concerned about it. Like, they're just like, oh, it's over in Iran, and, like, obviously the war with Ukraine didn't do too much, and, you know, that's a valid point. But you got to remember, like, two big wars, especially one in the Middle East around where a lot of our oil comes out of, is different. Well, it's different.
But people are not reacting until it hits their bottom pocket.
That's right.
You know, this is what it comes down to. Oil is in everything.
Everything.
It's in everything. So if that goes up, it has to have a downward effect on services.
Yeah.
And also goods.
Yeah.
You know, so I think on the 31st of July, because the Albanese government had a reduction of the fuel excise by 16 cents left.
Yeah.
On the 1st of August, that disappears.
Yeah.
So there's going to be naturally a bit of an uptick to fuel prices across the board.
Well, yeah. Well, we're already at like $2.20 diesel now. I saw on the way here, which is a huge spike.
I saw a letter for $1.98.
Yeah.
You know, which is still $1.98. It's a lot higher than what it was a couple of years ago. You know.
Yeah.
Like I think the highest I paid was $2.69.
Yeah.
And like I've never paid $2.69.
Do you know what I found really fascinating is, like, for as long as I can remember, we've been paying around $1.85 for 95. I use 95, so it's about $1.85, $1.70 maybe on a good day. What I found really fascinating was, when the war started, we obviously saw a huge uptick in the price of oil and gas, like, you know, filling up petrol. It got to like $2.20, I think, was what I spent. But since then, like, it got really low. Like, it got down to like $1.40.
It did.
Right? Which is weird. Don't you think?
I think there was a big hype on the way up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of oil producers, oil stockists basically held on to the oil to make a quick buck. Then the war was over, they had to dump that oil. They probably paid more than what they were selling it for, and then they had like a fire sale.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
Is that how that works? Yeah, because I found that really fascinating. Like, why during a war did it get down to $1.40, but before that we were paying, you know, $1.85?
Well, the war was technically over a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, if you bought a lot of oil.
Technically, yeah.
If you bought a lot of oil and you had it in your inventory.
Yeah.
And you paid $100 for it a barrel, and now it's down to 60. You're like, shit, I got to get rid of the stock. And that's what happens.
Yeah, I see. Just to get rid of it all. Yeah, right. Interesting.
But that changes on the 1st of August.
Yeah, which is only like 2 weeks away. So, yeah, we could see oil or petrol go up to like $3.
Well, that's going to drive into the RBA decision, because once they remove that excise, it's going to naturally have an impact on inflation. They'll have to raise rates again.
So what happens in the US then? Because obviously they're going to increase the rates here, but would that mean that they will go into more like the QE style of rates over there? Like, they just lower rates?
So whenever there's usually like a crisis, or there's a problem, the way they try and fix it is by throwing more money.
More money, yeah.
So what they try and do is they do QE, or qualitative easing.
Yeah.
They basically buy the debt from the Federal Reserve, and they lower interest rates artificially.
Yeah.
So even though the rates should be at 3% or 4%, they will make the rates artificially lower down to 1%.
Yeah.
To stimulate stuff.
Yeah.
You know, stimulate businesses borrowing money, stimulate people buying cars, and all those activities stimulate the economy. So that's what they try to do. And they did it here in 2020. Remember when COVID happened? They smashed the rates down to nothing, literally nothing. 0 or 0.25 was the cash rate, which was insanely low.
Yeah.
And what happened? People went out.
The house prices went up.
They went and borrowed money to go buy houses, and this is why we have a housing problem. All of a sudden now, houses that were, you know, average house was like 800,000 in Sydney. All of a sudden now that's 1.5 million because the rates are too cheap. Why would you not borrow money to go invest it in something if the cost of that debt, or the cost of that house is growing faster than the debt?
It's just a full setup.
You do it every day. And this is what happened with WA, right? You were in WA yourself.
Yeah.
The houses were 200-300 grand. Now they're 8.
They're almost $1 million now.
You know, because people have just gone on steroids. Like, it happens on steroids. And you got to think, you know, you do it, I do it, the guy next to me does it. Then all of a sudden, thousands of people are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're rushing out to borrow money to buy assets. and it just pumps up the price.
Yeah, and now we're on the precipice of a bloody recession.
I think we're already in a recession.
Yeah.
Technically, but they're not going to say that, and you can see it already. The housing market is wobbling. It's wobbling hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, but I think it'd be really interesting to see what they do in America with the rates, because Walsh, whatever his name is, has been saying that they're going to increase rates for a while.
But Trump wants them down.
He wants them down.
He wants them down because...
So they'll most likely come down.
Well, he wants them down because he's going to look better at midterms. If everybody's got a job, everybody's making money, he's going to have more votes.
Yeah.
So that's why his view is. The other side of that is, well, things are growing too fast in the US, the AI boom, people's wages, so we need to put a cap on that, like they're doing here. We need to raise the interest rates so people have less spending money to spend around in the economy to cool things down. So that's what they're planning to do. The only thing that Horsh is not going to be able to stop is if there's a GFC-like event. Then they'll be forced to go.
that relies heavily on job data, doesn't it?
Job data.
Yeah. So if the job data comes in where there's unemployment is high, then fuck.
Well, the thing is, job data as well is also done backwards.
Yeah.
So if
it's reactive.
It's reactive. So, you're going to get the job data, say today's the 31st of July.
Yeah, it's too late.
For the 3 months before.
Yeah.
The economy's stopping now. You're not going to see it for another 3 months. And this is where usually the stock market will react first because you've got the heavy, you've got to think about it, you're a bank. You have control of everybody's bank accounts. You can see how much money is going in, going out, how much people are spending. You can actively see straight away with a push of a button how the economy is performing. Say you're the big American banks, you can see it probably in lifetime.
Yeah.
So then that's where those guys will start exiting their positions. They'll start shorting the market in anticipation for the job data that's going to come out a few months later.
Yeah. So they start reacting before we do because they have the information.
Money moves first, always.
Cheeky bastards.
This is the game. It's the game.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important to position early, hey?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, they say you should be buying when there's blood on the streets.
Yeah.
When everybody's running the other way, you go in, and vice versa.
Yeah. So when's the blood coming, do you reckon? What's your prediction now?
I think it's going to happen after midterms.
After midterms.
Midterms are in November, for everyone listening. So I think what will happen now, the stock market at the moment is going through a bit of a lull. It's dropping. It's on the downtrend. I think Trump is going to do what he does best. He's going to pump shit up, pump up the markets, hopefully retain the House or the Senate. And then after that, I think next year is when it's going to happen.
But how do you pump the markets up when there's a global conflict?
Man, his tweets.
But I just think that's out. Like, I don't think that he's got much left in that. There's only so much he can do.
True, but he can also influence all the different departments with the government as well. I'm sure he can influence the job data. Influence. Is it going to come out not as good, or it's going to come out better? But eventually it all catches up. Like even with the GFC, I remember when it happened.
The longer it goes, the worse it gets, I guess, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah. And then I remember in 2007, they were raising rates. And then if you look back, now we have hindsight, they were raising rates when they're already going through a recession.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing will happen.
Yeah. I think it might be the other way around, I honestly think that the time's up.
Time's up?
I think time's up, and I think that we're going to see blood in the streets really soon. And I've always just had this weird feeling that midterms aren't going to go ahead.
It could possibly not go ahead.
I just think because of emergency, powers or whatever it is, like when there's a full-scale war and cyber attacks, who knows? There's just so many things that could happen now that there's conflict in two parts of the world. And now that Europe's getting heavily involved with the Ukraine-Russia war.
They're getting back in.
Like Russia, I just saw, were doing firing deals off the coast of Britain. Of the UK.
Well, they changed Prime Minister in the UK.
They did.
The 7th one in 10 years.
And it's interesting that Russia just did that. Just being like, hey, we're here.
A power play.
Yeah, don't fuck around. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just think that it's going to come a bit earlier.
Look, it could happen. Anything,
Anything can happen,
Anything is possible.
Because that AI bubble is just so overvalued, isn't it?
Look, I think it is. AI is great.
Yeah.
It's pumping. If you're using it, it's revolutionary. It's changing the world. All of that stuff, but you're also having a lot of capex. So people or companies are investing big in it, and it's not the investment. It's that they're borrowing money to invest.
Yeah.
So all that debt has interest rates.
There's something about the cost for the data centers as well. Is going to have an impact.
Well, you have the data centers. You've got the build out. You've got all the labor.
Yeah.
It's going to cost
the
a lot of
energy.
money. The energy is a big one.
Energy is huge because they consume so much water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Australia's about to build a stack of them.
Well, I think this is where uranium, I think, is, they're going to lift the moratorium. I think it's a moratorium, they call it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And because we're not allowed to have nuclear reactors here at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to change that because they're going to realise pretty quick.
We're going to need it.
They need the energy.
Yeah.
They need the energy.
Well, how else would you power those things? They consume so much power.
Well, no one wants to touch coal, or people, Australia's turning away from coal. And it's like, okay, wind and solar only work half the time or less than that.
Yeah.
These things have to run 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7.
That's right.
And we're not talking about,
a little bit.
like your house.
Yeah, like a light switch.
The power just turns off. You're like, oh, fuck, we'll come back on.
Yeah.
These things, if the power goes off, man, it has a massive ripple effect.
Fuck, I'm going to build Skynet in Australia.
It's already here.
It's already here.
It's already here.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. Oh, well.
So, yeah, there's a lot happening in markets, but yeah, back home, not much is happening here.
Nah, just disputing over the flag again.
Which this discussion happens.
It's a fucking circus.
I think it's on repeat every 6 months.
Oh man, honestly, the media in Australia is honestly just on a rinse and repeat, and it's just like we were talking about before. Like, don't watch the news. It's just fucking garbage. It's like, absolute garbage. All they do is just talk about shit that divides people and gets them arguing. It's like, shut the fuck up, right? Who cares about the flag? Yeah. Get rid of all flags. How about that? Yeah. Like, fuck.
Look, I think the flag discussion's been going on for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that there's, it could be an issue, but I think there are bigger issues at the moment.
Massive. Yeah. People can't afford fucking bread.
Yeah. You have a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
You have a housing crisis.
Yeah.
You have all these crises, or crises, things going on across the world, and worried about the flag.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's not going to change, an Aussie's life at home.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's just bullshit. And it's just another way to get people to forget what's going on and talk about something else.
That's probably more realistic.
It really is. Like, that's all they do.
Well, yeah, house prices they've fallen back.
They have. And it's just the beginning, I think.
I think it's the beginning. So one of the things that they pushed through was SMSFs can no longer buy residential property. So from the 10th of August, you can have a contract signed, you can still buy it. But if it's the 11th, you can't do it. So
this year?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Dead set.
You
can't buy a property out of your SMSF anymore.
Unless it's commercial. So Resi has been killed.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Bro, what do you got, 10 million? It's got 10 million bucks in their fucking super.
So I think what's going to happen over the next few weeks, you're going to have a little rush, a little flurry of investors rushing to buy these houses in their SMSF.
Man, we're getting locked down hard, eh?
And I think that's what will happen. And I think after that 10th of August, a little kick finishes, I think that's when we're going to see the real impacts of what's going on.
What's happening to Australia? What's happening? Like, let's think about it. Like, the amount that we have been able to do for such a long time to the amount that now we are being restricted and taxed. What is going on? I reckon that's what a lot of people are trying to figure out.
Well, I think it's a tax grab. It's a money grab. And I think...
Do you think they know something?
I don't...
Like, why are they all of a sudden trying to take so much money off people that make money?
Well, I think there's a lot of money to be taken. I think now that's what's happening.
But why? Why now?
I think it's the perfect time. They're in power.
Because we're about to go into, like, global conflict?
Maybe, but I think they've got the majority as well. Like, if you are in power and, you've got the seats, this is the time for you to push everything through. And then people can't write, they can't argue.
But they know that they're not going to get voted back in.
Well, this is why you push it all the way to the end. And that's what they've done. Like, with the SMSF thing, that wasn't even in the works at all. No one was speaking about it over the last
That's what I mean.
And then they just slipped it in.
Yeah. And got it approved straight away, and all of a sudden we're not buying property out of our SMSF, which is fucking insane, because it's our money. And now they want to use our super.
Yes, I was about to say that.
What was it? Yeah, what was that again?
They want to now they want to connect Centrelink up to
That's right.
to the super system.
That's right.
And it's like,
bro, what the fuck?
Like that. all of a sudden now there's going to be full
That's
control.
trillion. Is that billions of dollars? Trillions of dollars.
I think the super system's worth like 10 trillion or 8 trillion or something.
So let me get this right. They're going to use money out of our super to pay for.
I think what they were saying, from what I was reading, they want to be able to use the money to invest. So the government will be able to tap into the super system to then get the money to invest in things.
For them.
Well, for the government.
For them.
And it's like, oof, man.
So hang on. You can't buy a house with your super.
No.
You can't invest with your super without paying 50% capital gains.
Well, so the capital gains, it didn't apply to super.
Oh, didn't?
The changes.
What was the other changes on the super?
So the super was mainly, that was the only one.
That was the only one. So you can't invest in a house with your own super, with your money that you worked for, but will invest with your money to make money for the government. Doesn't that sound like a different country to you? It does to me.
Well, and then what you're referring to just then, the capital gains tax discount is gone.
Gone, that's what I was talking about.
In your personal name, and you've got the negative gearing changes as well.
Yeah.
So anyone that sort of wants to get ahead, now all of a sudden, you need more cash.
Yeah, and by the way, if you buy a watch and it goes up in value, or a car, or a pair of shoes, you'll also pay capital gains on that.
Well, if you sell it,
yeah,
you know, like 100%. Like they're trying to, and I see, you know, the Labor government's in a unique position. They're in power. They got majority, and they're just ramming everything that they can. You know, they're spending money like drunken sailors. You know.
Yep.
So, and no one can write, no one can argue because they got elected in. So now you got to wait until election day, which is going to be in 2028.
It's ages away.
Ages away. It's a long time away.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like how much damage can continually be done.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing more and more every week after we speak. I'm seeing so many young Australians leave. I saw another 2 young Australians who they're creating like YouTube channels and social media pages, and I think it's really cool. Like this couple are going to Italy. You can get a house in Tuscany for like €1.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's insane. And you know they're saying like we're not leaving because we want to live a lavish lifestyle. We just want to live a lifestyle like that where we can enjoy. Like the guy was making like 150 grand a year, and their expenses were like 120.
Yeah.
Right. What do you do with 30 grand between 2 people?
Not only that, it's like 150. You got to pay your tax.
Well, yeah.
You know, so then you're left maybe 150. You're left, say it's 150 joined.
Yeah.
You know, you're left with 100, maybe 90 grand, and then you got to live on that.
Yeah.
You know,
and the cost of living is going up. So, yeah, a lot of people leaving, man.
I saw I think there was something going around on Facebook about one of the most searched terms on Google was "How do I leave Australia?" You know,
pack your bags, baby, and just leave. Get on the plane.
And just go.
Go.
Yeah, like I think over the next I think it's going to unravel over the next few months. You know? And I think it's going to get worse.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like no one knows with housing. Like the big thing with the property market is you're doing big changes. People buy houses with horizons of 30 years ahead. You know, like you buy a house for the long term. Now you're changing the goalposts. So people will have to basically reassess their position before they decide to invest in property or not.
Yeah.
And that stuff takes time. It's got to go through, you know, people individually, probably their advisors. They have to go through the modelling. Yeah. All that takes time.
Well, this couple said exactly that. I think they bought their house for like 600 grand, which is a pretty good price. I can't remember where they were from, maybe Perth. And they did some renovations and all that stuff on it. And their mortgage over the 30 years was going to be like 1.35 million or something like that, right?
Yep.
So even if they sold it, right, they'd only just break even.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, the interest cost, you know, and a lot of people don't see this. It's like, yeah, your property went up in value, 100%.
But the interest costs.
But the interest costs you have to factor in.
Yeah, and now with property prices going down,
that's the other way.
You're actually, again, negative equity.
You know, and I think people don't realise that when they're paying their mortgage, they're like, oh, I bought this house for 600,000, and now I'm selling it 15 years later for $1 million. I made money. Go back and work out how much interest you paid each of those years, add it into the total, and then work out what your true position is.
This is exactly why I stayed out of the Sydney housing market and went to Perth, because like I did that. I looked at the monthly repayments over 30 years and I was just like,
what?
The first thing I thought of was like, how do I actually live?
Yeah.
Like, how do I live a life where I actually like going away on holidays and just
You can't do it.
going for a dinner with my wife and doing stuff like we want to have kids, like all that stuff. Like if I put all that together and then I factor in the repayments and how much the house could go up by, right, over the years, I'm just like, it doesn't add up.
Doesn't it up?
You know, and I'm so glad I did those numbers and looked at it and went elsewhere, because like I'd be having a totally different conversation now.
Man, I know so many people who are on the edge.
Yeah.
You know, the other way, where they bought a house, they spent a bit more because they wanted this, they wanted that, you know, with the hope it's going to keep going up. And then all of a sudden now the rates have gone up and they're like, we're going backwards.
At this point, you're better off just building your own house.
If you can, yeah.
Like, seriously, like learn how to fucking construct something, go and buy a piece of land away from this bullshit and just build your own fucking house.
Yeah.
Look, seriously.
I think, a lot of people are doing it. They're going to the country. And
man.
I think the country is a happy medium as well if you want to stay in the country.
Yeah.
Like stay in Australia.
Yeah.
Like you could go to Wagga now. Like now you got Starlink and internet works everywhere. If you can do that.
If you can work from home and, you know, create your own job, I think is the best thing you could probably do now with all the technology at hand. Stop getting paid by a fucking employer. Mm-hmm. Start your own thing and learn how to make some cash yourself.
Yeah, if you can. Look, the side hustles. You can do a side hustle, it's a lot of fun.
Oh.
And then you're not reliant on the boss.
Someone else.
But yeah, you're reliant on other people, your customers. So.
Yeah. Interesting times again. Let's see what happens this week.
That's it.
See you then.
Catch ya.
Ciao.